Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man, the truth.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man, the truth.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man,
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? It's glad to be back. I've been gone for a couple weeks, had a bunch of things I need to take care of. Here I am. So let's jump into it to see what we're dealing with today. All right, for today, we have the 11th. We have a new moon. The new moon is going to come in at about 9:47 a.m. Pacific time. It's like 17:47 Universal time. So here in California, we take off 8 hours from that. Brings us to 9:47. So we're just about to hit a new moon. The sun sign is in Scorpio, which is a water sign, which means we're dealing with emotions during the course of this 30-day period of time. The moon sign for today is also Scorpio. So we have double water, lots of emotions, lots of feelings coming up. Okay, lots of emotions and feelings. That's what's going on in the world. Feelings, feelings, feelings. People are getting offended because their feelings are getting ruffled. They're not dealing with what's going on. So we're going to deal with some of these things today. I'm just giving you a little bit of notice. As we progress into the show, there's going to be some subjects that we're going to talk about that might ruffle some feathers. You might want to tune out if you're someone who is easily offended by such topics of race and racism. We're going to deal with it. Anyway, before we do that, I just wanted to send out a happy Veterans Day to all veterans around the country. I know, you were put in a tough situation. Some of you voluntarily, some of you involuntarily, just depending on when it was. And, I know there was a great sacrifice that was made. I've met many women and men in the military. I know you guys make a great sacrifice, and you go through a lot, especially those who've been injured and so on. So, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for putting your bravery on the line for America. So, some of these signs we're looking at over the course of today with this new moon, aspect-wise. Most of the aspects all took place already, which was Pluto in the mix. We had Mercury for communication. We had the Wounded Healer, which just not long ago, about 10 minutes, 12, 13 minutes ago, we dealt with this, where the Wounded Healer, Chiron, is coming in. So we need to heal that aspect of ourselves, is what's going on. As we move forward, things are going to expand a bit, expand in the realm of Scorpio. And then finally, 11:47 a.m., the sun and the moon, both in Scorpio, are going to be right next to each other in conjunction. If we go and we look at that, we could see here they are, the sun and the moon in conjunction in Scorpio. So let's take a quick recap of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. Water sign represents water, represents emotions. So the water signs deal with signs that are playing on our emotions. Okay? Now, we have fire, water, air, and earth. Water is one of the emotions. Water and emotions, as we know, is something very important into our life. We take the fire, ideas, we sprinkle them with emotions, water. We then take some sort of action, whether it's words or some sort of other action, to express this reality into life, and then the physical world is made manifest by that. Simply how it works. This is the card that represents Scorpio. It's the tarot card of death. Nope, it doesn't mean somebody's going to die. What it means is that the emotions are being challenged, because this is a water sign. Scorpio is a water sign. That means that death is occurring on an emotional level. But oftentimes our emotions make us feel like we died, especially when they're attacked and they're hit We're going through a lot of that right now. We see it in the world. It's going to be discussed, in great detail in just a little bit. Okay, so that's what's going on astrologically. Over the course of today, we need to deal with these emotions that are available to us. On the Jewish calendar, today is 29 Cheshvan, and the daily thought for today is stand tall. Worry is humiliating. Trust is dignity. To worry is to worship the world, to fall on your knees in dread and grovel before it. To trust is to lift up your eyes and stand as tall as the heavens, to live with nothing else but the bond between God above and you below. The Mayan oracle, it's the beginning of a new wave spell. This is the wave spell of the wind, inspiration. So in with the new moon, we have a new wave spell inspiring us. We have inspiration guided by inspiration. The storm, our hidden power that's, ready to go, is our hidden power. Now what we need to do is just get in line with our synchronicity and our navigation. Pay attention to what's going on around us for the clues that they are giving to us in life. Phrase for today is I unify in order to communicate, attracting breath. I seal the input of spirit with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. And today is a galactic activation portal day, which means the energy is a bit more intensified. We can see it's a magnification or a reflection of what is going on in these first 6 rows. The columns, we have here this column which reflects the second one. It's the second position down, second one over. That's why. New moon, there it is. New moons, opportunities for new beginnings. A cycle is moving forward and we're moving with it. Solar wind, 658.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index, currently at a 3, but over the next 24 hours could get as high as a 5. Not a lot in the coronal holes at this one right here. Maybe we'll feel some effect from it. No notification now. M-class flare possibilities at 20%. X-class at 5. Geomagnetic storms, 35 in the mid-latitudes. In the upper latitudes, we're getting as high as 60. So we're going to have some effect going on. This certainly is, as this storm is kicking into gear. And finally, looking up the sky tonight, Wednesday, November 11th, the brightest star in the northeastern side of the November sky is Capella, magnitude 0. It's below Perseus. Look well into the night, about 3 fist arms length to locate the Pleiades. The size of your fingertips at arm's length below the Pleiades blinks orange Aldebaran. And there you have it. That is our cosmic weather for today. Cosmic weather being a compilation of all that's going on. So what's going on? Emotions. Emotions. We need to deal with our emotions. Too many people not knowing how to do that, and therefore we are drowning in our own oversensitivity. Okay? So there you go. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
It's time for the UFO news with Joshua Poet.
All right. That was Dirk Bradshaw. Everybody. One day he will return, but till then, we just simply have his announcements, and we'll have to make do with that. All right, first sighting here. Only a couple of things today here. TR 3B caught on tape over California. All right. So there we go. It says, new video of triangular shaped formation hovering above California on the 6th of November 2015. So let's see what we can see in this video here, which is 10 minutes, 35 seconds in length. So you're going to have to check it out on your own accord, the full video. I'm just going to present it to you here. Mr. Enigma presents this. And as we go through, let's see if we can capture. This is basically what we're looking for right there. There it is. Okay, we could see that being a nighttime shot, we don't have a lens reflection. So what we see are lights in the sky. Are they real? Don't know, but that's just simply the sighting. Next, we have a fleet seen over Los Angeles. This took place at the end of, well, this was going back to 9/26, so 12 UFOs witnessed and documented on September 26th, 1 p.m. Saturday, an LA UFO channel over Hollydale Park, Southgate, Florida. So, again, with these type of events, we need to look closely. We have technology these days that can fake these things, so we want to make sure that we're not being fooled or lied to.
So we're currently on my roof. My meditation.
Yeah. She's got his Never a Straight Answer shirt on. Okay, so
Park, Southgate.
let's move on in here.
Don't convince anybody.
It's a 7-minute video. Okay, and apparently this.
Record this UFO when I would press record, as you see right
All right.
So the camera's gonna.
All right. I'm not going to keep skipping through here. I'm going to leave it to you. Looks like we are getting to something. And all right, I'm going to leave the video for you. But what they saw was 12 gorgeous, beautifully traversing paranormal orbs. Something like this here, okay? So check that out. 2 huge UFOs flying over Kentucky, November 10th. Here's one interesting sighting of 2 huge unidentified flying objects slowly flying across the night sky above Kentucky, recorded on the 10th. The witness says, I was watching the night sky with my night vision device when I noticed 2 bright objects moving slowly across the night sky. Soon I realized it was 3 UFOs in a triangular formation, and after a couple of minutes, a 4th UFO got too close to the formation, and then they started to glow really bright. I was able to see them with my own eyes. It was an amazing sight to see. I uploaded the video to YouTube in a huge triangular information. Okay, so there you go. And you can see the movement going on. There we go. All right. And moving on, one last piece. There was a sighting that took place. You may have seen the image. It looked like this. There was a curiosity amongst many as to whether this was a UFO, a missile test. But either way, it says this has gone viral. The UFO scares are the price we pay for secret missile test, expert says. Missile tests like the one the Navy performed off the coast of Southern California Saturday night present military officials with something of a conundrum. On the one hand, Lauren Thompson, a military analyst with the Lexington Institute, the military needs to give local aviation officials enough time as to the information as to the time and place of the test to ensure no planes are in the area, but at the same time the military is determined to keep tests shrouded in secrecy in order to thwart any efforts by potential adversaries, namely Russia and China, to monitor the missile launch and flight. The confusion and social media uproar that erupted Saturday night as a mysterious white cone of light crossed across the night sky is an unfortunate but necessary trade-off, Thompson added. The need for secrecy is all the more important given the type of weapon the Navy launched Saturday from a submarine, according to Thompson. The Trident II missile is a centerpiece of the U.S. military's ability to detect nuclear attack, and modernizing the weapon is a top priority, he said. Knowing in advance that a Trident was going to be tested would give prying eyes, for example, sailors on a Russian submarine positioned in the Pacific, the ability to gather valuable info. Tracking its trajectory, speed, electromagnetic emissions, and other characteristics in real time could provide insights into potential vulnerabilities. Okay, go more to the article, but as we could see here, they are claiming that this is simply a missile test. Do you believe that is the case? Well, what else are we going to go by? What else are we going to go by? So that's what they say. We're going to stick with their story for right now. Doesn't really matter, does it? We know UFOs are existing. We know what's taking place, and these little individual stories are just little individual stories. That's our UFO news. I'll be back. Let me give you a little bit of heads up. When I come back, I'm going to get into some subjects that might be a little touchy. If you don't feel you can handle touchy subjects today, now would be the time for you to turn me off. Now would be the time to go do something else. But if you think you can handle these touchy subjects, please stick around, because there's something there that might be important for you to hear. All right? All right. And today's song, well, I think we all need to wake up. So I am going to play the wake up song. Here we go.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. This is a time where we're going to talk about a couple of subjects, so touchy subjects. Telling you that right now. I'm going to talk about racism. Racism is a touchy subject because when people talk about racism, they risk others calling them racist. So if you choose to call me a racist, you know what? That's your problem. That's your issue. I'm going to talk about these things because they need to be talked about. I have lots of friends of color, black friends. If you're one of those listening to the show, you know that the topic I'm about to talk about here doesn't apply to you because we wouldn't be friends if you were behaving like this. Okay? So I know that I can speak freely about these subjects with people that I know. It's just the people that are out there that I don't know that may get offended. And if you're offended, you need to take a look at why that is, because we have some real issues in this country that need to go beyond being offended. So over the course of this week, we have heard this situation going on at the University of Missouri. And right away, people jump up and get all excited about this. Apparently, the situation was escalated by a couple of things. One was a swastika made out of feces that was reported. However, there's no pictures, there's no evidence, anything, only somebody said it happened. And based on that, all of these events took place. Because then you have this student, who I'm going to show you this picture of in a minute, who decided he was going to go on a hunger strike because he didn't feel the issues were being addressed enough. Let me show you this guy. Let me show you this clown. This is the guy. Claims white people are privileged and he is oppressed, but he comes from a family with a net worth of $20 million. Jonathan Butler, the University of Missouri graduate student who went on a weekend hunger strike, comes from a family worth $20 billion. His father is a railroad president and made $8 million last year. Okay, now, Butler complained about white privilege. He argued that he was oppressed. Jonathan Butler, a central figure in the protest for the University of Missouri, is an Omaha native and the son of a railroad vice president, the Omaha World Herald reports. Butler refused food last week in a move to force the university system president Timothy N. Wolf from office. Wolf resigned Monday, and Butler ended his hunger strike. Butler played high school football at Omaha Central High, where he won a state championship, earned a bachelor's degree in business admin from MIZZOU, the newspaper reports. He's working towards a master's degree in educational leadership and policy. He's a member of a prominent Omaha family. The newspaper says his father, Eric Butler, executive vice president for sales and marketing for Union Pacific Railroad. His 2004 compensation was $8.4 million, according to filings with the SEC. So here's some fool who's saying that he's oppressed. Well, let me talk about this thing of white privilege. White people, how many of you are tired of hearing uninformed Negroes talking about white privilege? I'm one. I'm a white, and I don't have any privilege. Nobody's given me things because of the color of my skin. However, I know there's a program called affirmative action that if you're black, you can get assistance that white people can't get. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because whoever put that policy in place didn't think you people of color were as good as white people, and so they had to give you a foot up, an edge up. Okay? I'm not privileged to be able to get that kind of affirmative action. I don't get the handouts that you blacks get. Us whiteys don't get that. But we have to be subject to all of your dumbass comments about white privilege. Why don't you take your dumbass white privilege comments and shove them up your ass? Because I don't care about them, and others don't care about them. They're just not brave enough to stand up and say something. So I'm saying it right now. This fool over at the university, a person who comes from a family with 20 million saying he's oppressed, please, this is just a fool. This is just a thug. That's all he is, an uninformed Negro. And you know what happened? A bunch of other uninformed Negroes on the football team decided they were going to support this guy. Why? Not because they believed his cause, but you can read the quotes, because he was black. You know what? As a white person, I know that there are other white people in the world that I could support, but I know that there's stupidity amongst white people, just like every other race. So I don't support somebody just because of the color of their skin, because they might be doing something stupid. But I continually hear, and us white people hear over and over and over, the stupidity coming out of the mouths of Negroes that they're supporting another person simply because of the color of their skin. And yet, you don't remember what Martin Luther King talked about, did you? Not one of them do. Not one of them do. And I don't understand that. Because all you have is this thug culture of these kind of individuals. These scumbag individuals who cause problems and should be held accountable. The president shouldn't have had to resign from this university. What should have happened was all of these football players who said they were going to protest and they were going to do that should have lost their scholarships. Bye-bye. And if you have to disband the football program, bye-bye. We don't need it. A couple weeks ago, the same university had students on there, dumbass students, wanted to take down the statue of Thomas Jefferson. Why? Because it reminds them of violence. You got dumb people, young, dumb people in college. We're supposed to believe these are the hope of our future? Really? When we've got these kind of fools out there claiming that he's oppressed? He's a graduate student who is receiving certain degrees and has had certain opportunities in life presented to him, and he's saying he's oppressed? Please, please, get a good look at this face. This is the face of a thug. This is the face of a guy who in the upcoming future is probably going to end up in jail or some bad situation because he's already showing himself to be a thug. And I don't care what he's tried to do on the campus. Hunger strike. Yeah, didn't eat for a couple days. Big freaking deal. Okay? Uninformed Negro, right here. Uninformed Negro. So let's put lists of these people and let's make a mental note so we don't pay attention to these. Okay? If you want to be stupid and pay attention to this, go ahead. But there's an idiot right there. Now, Black Lives Matter was one of these groups involved with this. Black Lives Matter. They jump up and they say their Black Lives Matter. No, your fucking lives don't matter. How about that? Your black lives don't matter because all you want to do is go and cause problems. So the black lives that you're promoting don't matter one frickin' bit. All you're trying to do is promote terrorism in this country because you're a terrorist organization. Here's a story. This is what Black Lives Matter did the other day during the course of the debates. Burned American flag. Black Lives Matter protesters just want freedom and couldn't care less about the flag or the country that affords it. Democratic State Senator Lena Taylor posted several protesters of photos outside of Milwaukee theater where the Republican presidential debate was taking place, including one standing on the American flag and pointing at it. Listen, if you don't like this country, leave. There's boats and there's planes that leave this country every day, and I'm sure that you could find another country where you could go in and probably protest against America in those countries. As a matter of fact, if you've got so much cojones, why don't you go out there and join some of these other groups that are fighting? Why don't you fight against them? Use some of your male blackness to go out there and do some good in the world rather than just cause problems with your terrorist organization. Black Lives Matter. Your lives don't matter. You don't matter. All lives matter. You are trying to point yourselves out to be some sort of special snowflakes. You don't want to be equal. You want to be special. Well, you're not special. You're just like everybody else. So get over it. And guess what? Slavery's ended a long time ago. You're not slaves. Your parents weren't slaves. Your grandparents probably weren't slaves, but I'll tell you what, your grandparents fought for a lot of things that you young folks are tearing down. You young black folks are tearing down the things that your grandparents fought for, in many cases died for, because you're young and ignorant of what's going on in the world, and you think that the color of your skin is the most important thing. Well, you are so wrong, and you're going down the wrong path. Black Lives Matter, you're a terrorist organization. If nobody's brave enough to say it, I'll say it. You're a terrorist organization, and each one of you needs to be in jail. Okay? Your lives don't matter to me. One iota. Because all I see you out there doing is causing problems. And the people that you support, they're not people that are quality people. You support thugs. Thugs and criminals. That's who you support. Therefore, your organization is an organization that is only supporting terrorism and those willing to cause problems. Something's wrong. Something's wrong that's the mindset amongst so many of you in the black community. Again, call me racist. I don't care because I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing Negroes out of control. Why does it have to be? Because those of you who are out of control are giving your black race a bad name. Because then we look and we see and we want to try to understand why portions of your society are being so angry. Why portions of your society can't seem to get along. But there's plenty of other countries you could go to, so pack up and go. Pack up and go. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. Now, based on what happened with all of this nonsense going on and this racist stuff going on at the University of Missouri, now there's protests going to take place all across the country. So more dumbass students can go out and protest against dumbass things that they don't understand about. And how many more dumbass Negroes are going to be out there saying that they're oppressed by white privilege? How many? Probably a whole bunch. You know, you got a society, unfortunately, that has problems. They have problems with their upbringings because we know statistically there weren't daddies in the families. So you got a family growing up with a mother who couldn't control the young men. And so now these young men have grown up and they're just punks. Young punks in the world who think that they know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. You're just young punks who should be in jail. And in the near future, hopefully you will be. Some of you probably will end up being dead because you're going to be stupid and you're going to do stupid things that are going to cause some sort of unfortunate events in your lives. And that's sad that you're going to have to take it to that extreme, but you're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. One day, white people are going to just say, we've had enough. We've tolerated enough of your behavior. We've tolerated enough of you telling us that we're bad and that our white privilege is keeping you. We've had enough. Okay? I don't want to hear any more about your white privilege nonsense. There's no white privilege. You know what you seem to have? Black privilege. Okay? All lives matter. All lives. And your black lives that you're supporting don't mean diddly squat. They don't mean diddly squat. Oh my gosh, how could I say all these things? It's so racist. I'm a racist man. Oh no. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you if you think I'm racist, because I don't really care anymore. Political correctness is killing us, and we need to stop the political correctness because it's hurting us. Can't we see that? Our country is going down the tubes because we're being so politically correct. We don't want to offend everybody. Well, maybe the people that need to be offended, maybe they need to figure out why they're being offended rather than just trying to spread their poison into the world. Over at the University of Missouri, now they have a new policy. The university police sent out to all of the students emails saying that if there's any sort of hurtful language that occurs or hurtful events, they're to report it to the university police. I wonder what kind of can of worms this just opened up. What kind of can of worms got opened up by athletes across the country who are going to say, oh, all they have to do is boycott. All they have to do is boycott to get what they want because this chicken shit professor at the university president couldn't stand up. So he quit. He could have done a better job too, standing up. Probably could have done a better job of dealing with the racist issues that are going on. We are where we are. Now we need to pick up the pieces and figure out how we're going to move forward because this nonsense is hurting us. It's killing us. Here's a situation which I think is hilarious. Ohio University production of Katy-area Hall's The Mountaintop featured a white and a black actor as Martin Luther King. Hall says was disrespectful and a disservice. Well, says the casting of a white actor as Martin Luther King in Ohio University production of Katy-area Hall's acclaimed play The Mountaintop was a disservice to not just King but an entire community. Hall wrote an essay for the African American cultural website The Root on Monday about Kent State's production of her play, which dramatizes the night before he was assassinated. Hall told The Guardian that director Michael Oatman's decision to double cast a 6-show production with a black actor and a white actor as King went deeper than just casting a white man in the role of MLK. I just really feel as though it echoes the pervasive erasure of the black body and the silencing of a black community theatrically and also literally in the world. Well, here's the point. Martin Luther King said people shouldn't be judged by the color of their skin. It seems to me that the director is trying to make that kind of a point, but it seems to me that the playwright doesn't quite get it, because again, we have another uninformed Negro who's been misinformed, and because of his misinformation is spreading poison into the world that only blacks can represent this, only blacks can do this, blacks can't be racist. Some of the most racist people I know are blacks. And I know you know them too. I know. Oh, listen to me, all this hateful racist speech. You want to call it hateful? Fine. I'm pointing out things that are going on, and I know many of you are thinking these same things out there. Many of you are thinking them. The world's going crazy, and we need to step up. We're going to sit back and let ourselves get run over? I'm not. Are you? The world's going crazy. You know, what do we do? I've been at a loss of what to say. Obviously, I found my voice today, but I've been at a loss of how to approach what's going on in the world because the world is going absolutely insane. And how do you deal with a society that's going insane? What do you say to them? It's kind of challenging, isn't it? Here's a story to show the insanity. Attorney. Katy-area teacher fired for refusing to address girl, age 6, is a transgender boy. A federal discrimination complaint has been filed on behalf of a Katy-area educator who says she was wrongly terminated for refusing to address a 6-year-old girl as a transgender boy. My gosh, folks, these are kids. These are kids, and we're going to start pretending that a kid knows that he wants to be a boy or a girl when he's that age? They're kids. This teacher shouldn't be fired for this. It's insane. Transgenderism, in my opinion, is insanity. Okay? It's somebody who was born as one gender and suddenly thinks, because they identify mentally with another gender, that magically they become that gender. Doesn't work that way unless you're a rat. And guess what? If you're a human, you're not a rat. There's many humans that act like rats, but you're not a rat. Your gender doesn't change. So to think so is absolutely insanity. And anybody who caters to that insanity is just continuing to propagate more insane behavior. Men are men, women are women. You want to know what God made you? Look in the mirror and see which part He gave you. You got an innie, you're a woman. You got an outie, you're a man. Real simple. Let's not confuse the issue with all these other stupid gender identification things. It's not the way it's supposed to be. But you can pretend. We can pretend, oh, this is wrong. Josh is now homophobic. He's racist and homophobic. Neither. I'm paying attention to what's going on in the world and seeing that we are deceiving ourselves or hurting ourselves. We are misrepresenting our ideas. We're twisting around the way life works, and we're trying all to do this to fit into man's way as opposed to God's way. And therein lies the problem. Because we've removed God from the equation, therefore the equation doesn't make sense. Because we don't have the key ingredient in it, God. Now, I'm going to bring up the next piece here to show you that this was foretold in the past about how people were going to behave. This is Matthew 24. See, Jesus, very, very, very wise teacher, Son of God, filled with the spirit of the Christ consciousness, came and left a message that resonates today because of the truthfulness of this message. And here we have Matthew 24. I'm going to go here. I want to pull this one up. Matthew 24. This is the King James Version. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here a stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when these things shall be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world. Jesus said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. But these things are the beginning of sorrows. And they shall deliver you to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations because of my name's sake. And here we go. And many shall be offended. Okay, are we seeing offenses in the world? Many shall be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Okay? So what's going on is prophesied to have, to be part of the story. So what do? Are we supposed to be angry about what's going on in the world? It's real easy to do so. You can see I can easily get hepped up about a situation. But that anger really doesn't do anything if it's just on its own. We need to find a way to change that. We're not supposed to sit back and get walked over. Do you recall Jesus getting walked on? I don't. I recall him flipping over the tables in the temple because they were disrespecting God. I recall Jesus pointing his finger at a fig tree and the fig tree withering. So, if you think Jesus was someone who was getting walked over and was just going to sit down and take it, then you're sadly mistaken. You don't fully understand Jesus. He was a rebel. And I believe that in this day and age, he would be standing up against the injustices that are going on. I believe he would be standing up against the racist issues and would be pointing out these things. So we need to take a good hard look at where we're at, and we need to make some hard decisions about how we're going to do things. And maybe we might offend some people along the way, but they're going to be offended anyway. We need to keep walking our path, and we need to make sure that we are finding ways to promote the good and get rid of the bad, to find ways to keep encouraging ourselves. And we need to point out those who are causing distress into the world. We need to point out those who are causing trouble so that we understand. We have eyes to see, and if we don't see with our eyes, and if we allow ourselves to be deceived, it's our fault. If we're afraid to speak up because it's a racist issue and we're the wrong color and we're afraid of being, called a name, we lose. Bad things happen when good people say and do nothing. And I'm not one of those people to say and do nothing. So I would rather sit here and risk you telling me that I'm some sort of ist, a racist or a homophobic or something. I'd rather sit here and risk that by expressing what I see going on in the world than to sit and say nothing. Because then I'm just part of the problem, and I'm not going to be part of the problem. So we need to understand that there's events taking place that are playing themselves out, that have been prophesized. All of the stupidity in the world, all of these misinformed individuals of all colors, it's all meant to be. And if you're out there and if you have faith that things are going to work out, if you have faith that this is going to be a situation we're going to rise above, then you just keep having that faith, because that's what it's about. Faith is something that is missing. Faith is something we need to encourage to make sure that we all are expressing. Faith doesn't mean sitting back and get walked on. Faith doesn't mean turning a blind eye to everything that's going on and accepting it. Faith means understanding that through the darkness and the trials and the challenges, that if we keep focused upon God and keep walking the path, all is going to be well. That's what absolute faith is. And it's not a blind faith. It's not blindly hoping it's going to be. It's knowing it's going to be. That's what faith is. Faith to move a mountain. Faith, my friends. So, let's move on to this next article here. 18 signs that we're here to transform human consciousness. In 5D. For many years now, a lot of people have been talking about the shift, this mysterious transformation of human consciousness that is supposedly underway. Ever since the end of the Mayan calendar, December 2012, New Age types tend to twitter away about the evolution of the species, the evolution of love, and other hopeful but fuzzy-seeming changes in what it means to be human. I want to take a minute to help us all ground this floaty notion a bit. See if any of this sounds familiar. Do you have a vision of some aspect or more beautiful world, and you know it's your sacred purpose to help bring it into being? Do you sense that something is out of alignment in the world and you want to be part of the solution? Have you experienced a life-altering event that changed everything for you, and now you want to use that experience to help others? Do you have an innovative idea that might make the world a better place? Do you feel called to help others heal, transform, connect, love, create, succeed, and thrive? Yeah, I thought so. I had a feeling that you were one of us. Welcome to my world. My friend Martha Beck calls the team. In her book, Finding the Way in a Wild New World, Martha Beck defines team members by the following characteristics. You may not recognize every single attribute, but if you're a team member, you're likely to be nodding your head a lot as you read through these characteristics of those souls incarnated here on the planet right now to facilitate this mystical shift in human consciousness. See if any of these team traits resonate with who you are and how you feel. Okay, there's 18 of them here. A sense of having a specific mission or purpose involving a major transformation in human experience, but being unable to articulate what the change might be. A strong sense that the mission, whatever it is getting closer in time. A compulsion to master certain fields, skills, or professions, not only for career advancements, but in preparation for this half-understood personal mission. High levels of empathy, a sense of feeling what others feel. An urgent desire to lessen and prevent suffering for humans. Loneliness stemming from a sense of difference, despite generally high levels of social activity. High levels of creativity, passion for music, poetry, performance, or visual arts. An intense love of animals, sometimes a desire to communicate with them. Difficult early life, often with a history of abuse or childhood traumas. Intense connection to certain types of natural environments such as the ocean, mountains, or forest. Resistance to orthodox religiosity, paradoxically accompanied by strong sense of either spiritual purpose or spiritual yearning. Love of plants and gardening. Very high emotional sensitivity, often leading to predilections for anxiety, addictions, and eating disorders. Sense of intense connection with certain cultures, languages, geographic regions. Disability, often brain-centered. Apparently gregarious personality contrasting with a deep need for periods of solitude. Persistent or recurring physical illness, often severe with symptoms that fluctuate. Daydreams about healing damaged people, creatures, or places. If you read the list, like I did, thinking, check, 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 you're definitely one of us, visionary healers, mending wayfinders on the team, and the world needs you to fulfill your sacred purpose. Pronto. Okay, more to the article. I'm going to go back down to the end. It says, nobody has forged his path for you because it is your unique path. Nobody can predict for you where the path will end, because every twist and turn in the path will be a surprise and anything is possible. But one thing is guaranteed. When you fully commit to the realization of your vision, free from the ego's grasping attachments, unseen forces are likely to help you out. My new favorite word is pronoia, the opposite of paranoia. It's the unshakable belief that everything in the universe is conspiring to support you and shower you with blessings. If you have been called to serve one of God's holy ideas, you will not walk the path alone. The perfect people will show up to support your journey. The check will arrive in the mail. The tools you need will be offered to you. You will be given opportunities to learn the lessons you must learn, and when you look back upon your whole life, the triumphs, the challenges, and everything in between, you'll discover that you were groomed for this task your entire life. No greater gift in life than this. Blessings on your journey. Lisa Rankin, MD. Okay, good article, good information. We need to know why we're here. We can't be shy about it. Once we discover, we need to take action. Look, if my getting all excited and passionate and expressing what I have to say maybe pumps you up, great. If it doesn't, if it pisses you off, oh well. We can't mince words. We're hurting ourselves, my friends. We're hurting ourselves in the world because we're not saying the things we need to say, and we're letting the bullies take charge. Uninformed bullies are running the show. That's because we have a man in the White House who's a poor example of a leader and has simply caused more problems than solutions. But we know that because we know and understand his role is simply to create these sort of problems. All right. This is the Warrior of Light, page 126. The most important quality on the spiritual path is courage, said Gandhi. The world seems threatening and dangerous to cowards. They seek the false security of life with no major challenges and arm themselves to the teeth in order to defend what they think they possess. Cowards end up making the bars of their own prison. The Warrior of Light projects his thoughts beyond the horizon. He knows that if he does not do anything in the world, no one else will. So he fights the good fight and he helps others even though he does not quite understand why. All right, that brings us to our daily message here today. Once this page reloads itself, our Dane Francis teachings from the higher self. So what this is, as soon as I can get this, maybe the higher self doesn't want to teach us. Here we go. Here we go.
Dane Francis, Understanding and Listening, Teachings from Higher Self.
Understanding.
Understanding is achieved when two hearts and minds communicate accurately, regardless if their beliefs are the same or not. With that being said, humans communicate regardless of if they intend to or not. It is impossible to not communicate. Even choosing to not communicate with someone is communication itself. We as human beings, through feelings, lighten or darken a room by existing in whatever feeling we are feeling at the time. If we can agree that feelings are different states of being, and that every state gives of a vibration, it's safe to say that we always vibrate, for feeling is emotion, and emotion is being, and in being we move, sharing with others what we are feeling whether we know it or not. Our light that shines is a metaphor for our feelings that give a vibe or vibration. For every feeling there is a vibration, for every vibration there is a feeling. What prevents understanding, however, is the inability to listen. Listening in itself is an art. As for one to listen, one needs to silence not only their tongues but their very beliefs to enable someone else's understanding to be understood. Not saying stop believe what you believe, instead, listen with an open heart that they may be more to what you already know, or thought you knew. From beliefs comes judgment. Take a look at what we judge right from wrong, beautiful or ugly, profane or natural, and we will see what we believe in. We can't hear another's point of view, because of the belief that we already heard enough on the subject when everyone experienced things different, thus giving new perspective when looking outside the box, as in outside your own belief system. When we learn to listen, we learn to decipher which belief systems best serve everyone, because sooner or later we realize that we affect each other, and only when everyone can be understood, can we heal the world. Nothing is wrong with believing in something strongly, yet one begs to question, are we always right? By becoming one with that answer, listening is achieved, and understanding is possible.
Listening.
To listen is to comprehend accurately all that is in a given circumstance or conversation. One can never listen if when someone is being told something, and the other person have their own thoughts running while information is coming forth. You see, we get parts of the information in the places your mind sits still, so understanding can never be gained if only parts of the data come through. Lack of understanding leaves behind inaccurate judgments on people, subjects, circumstances, and always yourself. The person you truly want to be cannot be expressed if lack of understanding is present, simply because you will be sending mixed signals into the universe, considering there may be things true, regardless of if you know it or not, thus making lack of understanding, with not all of the info to process accurately within given environment. An ego that perceives all as equals makes listening as natural as breathing. Listening is a doorway to understanding, and understanding always brings clarity, and clarity peace. Through listening to yourself without any outside attention, direction in which you choose to place your will, shall become as a morning star, bringing light to a confused mind.
Fingers of Dane Francis.
All right. Very good. Good message. Good message. So that brings us to the close of today's show. And as always, ending with a prayer and a meditation. Now, some of you might think, oh, I'm a hypocrite. How could I do a prayer and a meditation after I said such things on this show? Easy. Real easy. See, we're not supposed to be dead in life. We're not supposed to go through life not allowing things to bother us. We need to stand up against the injustices, and that's what's important. It doesn't make a person less spiritual because they're standing up. Not at all. It makes you a person that's standing up. Was Jesus less spiritual when he stood up and went into the temple? Absolutely not. He was expressing what needed to happen because society at that point was so out of whack that it was the only way that they were going to listen. The only way. It got their attention, didn't it? If he would have just walked through kindly and, said, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe you should stop. Do you think they would have listened? No, they would have laughed at him. But he took action the way he needed to, and we all need to do that. I'm not advocating violence because I don't believe that is the answer. But I do advocate people standing up for themselves, being brave enough to say what needs to be said, and not cowering to words that need to be said. Because if we do that, we've lost. First Amendment rights are being attacked at the University of Missouri. They're being attacked because now anytime some student feels that something is hurtful to them, they're going to report it. We have a whole group of young kids who are unable to deal with life right now. That's a problem because these kids are going to go into the world. And what's going to happen when they go into the world unable to deal with the problems of life? Big situation, big problem. We need to take charge because there is people running amok that are messing things up. So those who have any courage in them, those who love this country, those who want to see that we move in the right path, now is the time to take action. Because if you sit back and you sit on your butt and you do nothing, and then later on, if something happens that's not going the way it should go, you have no right to complain. Now is the time to act, my friends. Stand up against the injustices. Speak up against them. Do not let some misinformed individuals dictate to you what's going on in the world. Courage, courage, courage. We all have it. The strength of God is like a lion. Courage. We must be courageous. So in this meditation, we're going to deal with the idea of courage. Courage to step forth. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Now I want you to imagine yourself walking through the world, and the world around you is completely chaotic. You have people all around hollering and fighting and yelling all sorts of misinformed ideas. You see people running scams. You see political leaders that are out of control. Corruption is everywhere. And in the midst of all of this, you find within yourself that light, that little light that shines bright, and you allow it to shine brighter. And as that light shines bright within you, you find yourself strengthened. And you find your courage rises to the surface. And you find that this courage does not allow you to get walked upon, does not allow you to get lied to, does not allow you to be deceived, because it allows you to see past those things with the bravery that is required. So let's imagine going through life as warriors, defending the blows that come our way, trying to take us off our path. Standing up against all of those who will try to throw their words of oppression against us, to make it seem that by us pointing out the injustices that we're wrong. Let's just send love to those individuals, the misinformed individuals around this country and across the planet. Let's just send love to them and see that their misinformed ways dissipate. Let's see understanding come to those and the realization of what they were doing and how they were misinformed. And let's just imagine that one by one, as we send love and light into the world, we encourage others to be brave. We encourage others to stand up. We encourage others to speak the truth. And let us now decide at this moment we are no longer going to allow ourselves to be deceived. So imagine yourself wearing the armor of God, knowing that the adversary is going to throw all sorts of things our way. We just need to be faithful and strong. And in the end, God wins. And that is something that we all know inherently within us. So let's just send love and light into the world to all those who are misinformed and misguided, that they might change their ways. Let's the subconscious mind continue walking the path, sending out love and light. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. Some of you may have tuned out because it's already been a little bit too much for you. Some of you are probably hanging here with me. I'm just expressing what I need to express, and I can't worry about the results. I can't worry about if others are going to be offended, and I can't worry about not saying what needs to be said, because what needs to be said is important. We're getting walked over by the liars and the deceivers and the thugs. I'm not going to get walked over anymore. And I don't think you want to either. And the only way we're going to get past that is if we're courageous and we allow that strength and that courage of God to shine through us. We can do it, my friends. We're all in this together. All colors, all races, all genders. We're in this together. We should not be allowing ourselves to be separated, because that is what tears us apart. So let's come together as a human family. A human family. And let's make this world the place that it needs to be, that we know it can be. A better place filled with God, because that is what makes a society move forward. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.